What is up, Squid Family, and welcome back to another Squid Family video. So today I thought I would explain to you guys how everything has gone up to now with me moving house, and I thought this would be a little bit of an informative video for you guys, for if any of you are planning on moving, or if you guys are just interested in what's happened. So let's get into this video. So in this video I will kind of be explaining my experience. So everyone's experience will be different with moving houses and trying to find somewhere new to live, but this is kind of my story and how I've experienced everything. But I have 4 main points that I have written down, so if I keep looking down it's just to remind myself what is going on. Just starting off, before we get to the main 4 points that I've got, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to why I'm moving, and also just to kind of set the scene up for the rest of my points. So back last year, as you guys know, I lost my grandmother, and she was the sole owner of this house. So when we originally bought this property, she was the main purchaser. Her name went down on the sale and everything, so the house was hers. Now, in her last will and testament, she had left the property to me after her and my grandfather had passed away. So that's kind of how I came to own this house, which that was such a nice thing for them to do. It has set me up to move and to buy my first home, which I cannot believe that I'm 25 and I'm going to be owning my own home. Like, that's mad. That doesn't happen in this economy anymore, just because everything is so expensive. So after my grandmother passed and the house and everything got put into my name, I kind of was like, okay, so what do I do? Do I stay here or do I move? Now, I am living in a 3-bedroomed semi-detached house at the moment. Now that is big for a single person to live in. So I kind of made the decision based on, this house is a really big house, and also it's quite old and I don't really have the money to do it up the way I want it. There's a few repairs that need doing and the bills are really, really high. So I came to the decision that I would move. So, beginning to talk about the moving process, I had to go through something called probate. Now, that is a legal term for basically when a homeowner passes away, if the property is left to somebody in a will, then you have to go through having to change the name over and sorting out their affairs that they had when they were alive. So probate takes about 5-6 months-ish, depending on obviously timing and when everything happens. So probate for me was quite easy. So first off, you have to find a solicitor. Now, my grandparents had an executor of the will. Now, that is basically someone that oversees your wishes get done and are done in the correct way. So I asked the executor of the will if she could find a solicitor, just because of, this is my first time having to do any of this. So I do not know anything, didn't know anything of what went on or how it all happened. So she went off, she called around a few solicitors in my local area and just tried to find the best one for me. So we settled on a solicitor. Once we had settled on what solicitor we were going to use, we had a couple of meetings with them I had to take the will in and a couple of pieces of identification for my grandmother, just so that he could have a look online to see if there were any life insurances in her name, see what property she owned, and just kind of go through all the legal channels with that. So that took a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months-ish. And then he came back to us and said that there were a few ends needed to tie up. So we did that. Now, after that had all happened, it kind of went a little bit silent and kind of fell a little bit silent because obviously I was still trying to figure out whether I was going to move or not. Now, with the probate happening, everything then got put on hold, i.e. My grandmother's bank, bills, like council tax, gas, electric, all of that got put on hold for a couple of days just for me to get my affairs in order. So once I had let the bank know, they released the rest of my grandmother's money that she had left, and then I kind of slowly started paying bills and figuring out all of that. And that brings us on to our next point. So my next point is finding a estate agent and putting the house up on the market. So originally I spoke to the estate agent that my solicitor recommended because part of the probate process was getting a house valuation. So I had already spoken to an estate agent for that, but I also went off and kind of done my research to figure out like what estate agent I want to go with, read up on their credentials and their success rates of selling houses and things like that. But I decided that I was going to go for the one that my solicitor recommended to me, and that all went okay. I mean, there was a couple of little hiccups along the way, but that is kind of why I wanted to do this video, to kind of tell you guys what you can look out for. So the estate agent came over to my house and sat down and explained the whole thing to me so that I knew what I was getting myself in for. So when you go to put your house on the market, you have got to know roughly when the house was built, what it's made of, how old the electrics are, water, like how old the boiler is, whether it gets regularly serviced and things like that. Now, I didn't know a lot of this because my grandparents would have known. So I've kind of just guessed along the way, and it seems to have worked. But just in future, please try to figure out like when the house was built, what it's made of, whether it's concrete construction, brick, you know, the company that built it. If you know that, then that would be really, really good for you guys to know. Houses is different to sell than flats and apartments, so that's also a whole different can of worms with the whole apartment flat situation. So when I spoke to the estate agent, he explained that first of all we've got to get some pictures done of the property. So I had to run around like a headless chicken, cleaning up and making sure the house looked brilliant for its beauty shots to be done. So the photos get taken and then the house goes up on sale. So I also spoke to the estate agent about what I wanted to put the house on for. Now, I won't be disclosing that information just because obviously my house sale is still going through at the moment. So you kind of discuss with the estate agent like what you want to put it on for. Where I had already had the house evaluation, I kind of went off the back of that, and you just kind of go with what you think you might get for the property. So there was that. Now, taking the photos for the house went really smoothly. The estate agent sent out a photographer and she was lovely. I also had a little bit of a nerd session because I want to be a photographer, so I was kind of asking her a couple of photography questions at the same time. But yeah, they just come out, take photos of the property. If there's a certain room that you don't want them to go into, you can say to them, can you not take a picture of that? And yeah, that all went really, really smooth. So I also signed myself up for a couple of property websites. I signed up for Rightmove and I think also Purple Bricks. And then I also went and found some of the estate agents in the area that I was looking to move and signed up for their mailing list so that I would get property alerts for houses and for flats that were in my budget. So my next point is finding a buyer for your property and also finding a property for yourself. So they kind of go the same way. So for my property, obviously it had been put up on the market. The estate agent was getting some people wanting to view. So my estate agents did it in a really nice way that we had all the viewings happen on the same day. So it meant that, you know, I didn't have one viewing on a Wednesday, one on a Friday, one the next Monday. You know, they were all on the exact same day. I think they called it an open house. I'm not 100% on that. But we got quite a few viewings the first time round. And it's just people that come, have a look at your property, ask any questions they want to ask to the estate agent, and just kind of see whether they want to buy it or not. And it goes the same way for me for trying to buy a property as well. You know, I look online, see if there's any that I really like, and call the estate agent and ask for a viewing. So for me personally, I had about 7 or 8 viewings the first time round. I got offered a offer and I was really excited. I couldn't believe it really. It was the first people that had walked into my house, the very first viewing, and they had offered my asking price, which was mad. But then obviously, as you guys know, if you watch, I think the last video or video before that, you guys know that my buyers dropped out. So then we kind of went through the whole putting it on the market again. So the second time round we had 12 viewings, 12 or 13, and then it gets to the offer stage, we see who offers, and you know, it goes through again. So coming from my point of view, I had looked at a few different properties with a few different estate agents that were within my budget. A couple of them were flats, a couple of them were houses. So for me, what I was genuinely looking for was 2 bedrooms, a nice living room. I was hoping to find somewhere where the kitchen flowed into the living room, and also if I could, a bit of garden space, or if I was going for a flat, then probably a balcony if I could, just because I like my fresh air. I like to be out in the fresh air every now and again, but I wanted to make sure that it was low maintenance, just because of, at the minute, I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm more new to this experience. So I had found a couple, asked to go on a viewing to go and see the properties. Now, the kind of questions that you want to ask are how old the property is the boiler serviced and up to date, how old the electrics are, and what the quality is of the house itself. So like brickwork, guttering, things like that. Roofing as well, you need to kind of know what's up with that, if there are any leaks or anything. I made the mistake of jumping at the first property that I saw and offering straight away. Don't do that. At least view it first. So one of the first properties that I saw, I was really, really interested in it and was like, yes, this is amazing. But it was the first property that I had seen. So book yourself in for a few viewings. You know, you're not going to find the right one on the first try. So I then viewed a maisonette flat, which is basically a flat. It's all one level, but it's a split house. So someone has the upstairs, you have the downstairs, or vice versa. So I viewed that, I absolutely loved it, and I offered. So with the offering process, you've kind of got to go on what it's up for online, or what the estate agent has told you it's on the market for. And then you can roughly gauge whether you're going to go in slightly below or the asking price, or sometimes even a little bit above if you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So I offered just below the asking price, and I got a call from the estate agent. They said somebody had gone in at asking price, so somebody had offered the full price. So I kind of came back, I spoke to one of my friends who was looking at the property with me, and I decided that I was going to go in slightly above the asking price. Now, it took about a week and a half for the estate agent to come back to me on that, and they had said, sorry, unfortunately the sellers have gone for asking price. So after that property, I had lost out on that. It didn't really dishearten me too much. I then found the property that I was looking for, and I honestly can't believe that it's happening. It's crazy. Once I get the keys, I will obviously take you guys round for a show round before I move all my stuff in, and I just can't believe that that place is going to be mine. So then I went online and found this place that I'm trying to buy at the moment, and I went for a viewing. I took one of my really good friends with me to go and have a look, and I fell in love with it. Now, obviously, I asked the estate agent the general questions of, like, how old the property, what's it like, what's the neighbourhood like, travel links and things like that. But where I know the area that I'm moving to, I kind of knew what was around, but I wanted to hear it from the estate agent's point of view, and I decided to put an offer in. So I put in the offer of the asking price, and I got a call a little while ago, a couple of days ago from when this video is uploaded, that my offer had been accepted. Now, I'm so excited. I really can't get over that I'm making these massive adulting life decisions. It's crazy. So once your offer has been accepted on a property, you go back to the estate agent and they do something that's called an ID check. It's not as bad as it sounds. They are literally just checking who you are is what you say you are. So I gave them a couple of forms of my ID, told them my date of birth, national insurance number, things like that. And they also performed a credit check. Now, I decided to, a couple of months before, do an Experian credit check just to make sure that I was okay. Because if your credit score is quite bad, you won't get accepted for a mortgage and things like that. But I'm not going for a mortgage. I'm going to be cash from sale. So that kind of takes out that whole situation, which was cool. And then I got a phone call today, which is as of when I'm filming this video, that my ID checks come back fine, my credit checks come back fine. So now I am just waiting for my solicitors to get involved and go, right, okay, let's draw up a contract, let's get this done. So once you kind of have an offer accepted and your sale is going through okay, you get what's called a completion date. So everything has to be done by that specific day that they give you. It's normally a couple of months in the future, just to give you a couple of months to get everything in order, pack things up, sort out internet and change of address and things. But I've decided I'm not going to do my change of address or my internet and things like that till I'm at least there. So yeah, that's kind of what's happened so far, but I hope this video has helped you guys in trying to figure out how the whole moving situation happens, and kind of giving you a bit of an insight and giving you some of my advice as to what's really helped and what hasn't. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys have really enjoyed it. I just kind of wanted to jump on and let you guys know how everything is going at the moment. Obviously, once I know a little bit more and once I've moved and everything, you guys will get the whole story of everything and kind of a little bit more in detail as to what's happened, because at the minute I'm in the middle of it. So, but yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye!